of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Kansas City.
At Kauffman Stadium this year, every Sunday is Family Fun Day Sunday. And for the Royals this season, it's been one family fun day after another, with sons living their dreams and mom and dad living and dying with every moment. On this Sunday at Kauffman Stadium, it's the Royals and the Detroit Tigers next on Fox Sports Kansas City. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Kansas City with full sunlight and a powder blue sky. The Royals hope that's a good sign as they wrap up a homestand and hope to finish at an even 3-3. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. And right now, the Royals' future appears to be as bright as the sky, and the Royals got another piece of the puzzle in Kansas City this week.
Well, the Royals really got to be happy about where they are with their young guys. This was maybe a 2012 thing, but now it's 2011. All the young rookies have performed well in the bullpen, and the guys that have come up on the position player side, guys like Moustakas and Hosmer, and they got Giovanni who just came up. These guys really have dominated in AAA and really have earned their way to Kansas City.
And a common theme when a young player is called up, Ned Yost just puts him right in there, and now in his third big league game, Frank, Johnny Giovanni is going to bat second.
Well, it's kind of nice that he was swinging the bat well in Omaha, and he came up here and just took off right away. 2 hits in his first game and continues to play well at second base. This afternoon, he's batting second.
And it's temporary with Melky Cabrera being bothered by a left ankle, but Johnny Giovanni has batted second his entire career, so with a little more than a month and a half left in the season, an opportunity for him to show the coaching staff and the front office what he can do in that position. So we go from one young guy to the oldest guy on the 25-man roster. It's 34-year-old Bruce Chen taking the mound today, facing the Tigers for the second time this year. He beat the Tigers back in April. We'll check the lineup he'll face when we come back. By the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. And the parking lot at Kauffman Stadium filled up with some vintage cars, as today is the 2011 Cruise to the K. Here's the Tigers lineup today going up against Bruce Chen.
Well, Austin Jackson will lead things off for the Tigers this afternoon. The always dangerous Miguel Cabrera will be in the 4th spot, followed by Ordonez, Guillen, Peralta, Avila, and Dirks.
And it was a great game on defense for both teams yesterday. Here are the Royals defensively.
Well, change in center field, Mitch Meyer replacing Melky Cabrera. And on the infield, look at that young infield with Hosmer, Giavatella, and Mike Moustakas at third. Brian Pena will be catching Bruce Chen this afternoon.
Alcides Escobar made one of his best plays of the year, but the best play yesterday came right away. Austin Jackson on the first pitch of the bottom of the first took a home run away from Alex Gordon. It's the Royals and the Tigers, and the first pitch is next. From beautiful Kauffman Stadium in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. We go out to left field and welcome in Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks. Bruce Chen just got done warming up in the bullpen, now on the mound talking to Bob McClure about him, because Bruce has not gone 5 innings in each of his last 2 starts, 4 innings, 4 2/3 innings. Asking Mac what has happened, and he said it's just been a bit of a command issue. He's been around the zone. He's not missing by much, but he's picking a little bit too much. So he really has to get ahead in the count early. He said the 2 counts to keep an eye on, 0-0 and 1-1. That's what we should watch here today. If he can get the count to 0-1, he'll be okay. If he can get the count to 1-2, he'll be okay. But throw balls at 0-0 or 1-1, that's when he ends up getting himself in trouble. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Here's the key report for Bruce today at 5 wins, 5 losses. His last win was over a month ago, July the 7th at Chicago. So 5 starts ago for Bruce. And as Joel told you, struggling in his last 2 starts with a very high pitch count. One of his best starts this year was against the Tigers. That was way back on April the 9th with 6 scoreless innings. And he had a season-high 7 strikeouts. And he began that start against the Tigers by retiring 17 of the first 19. Bruce in his career against Detroit is an even 3-3. So Jim Leyland and the Tigers have won the first two here at Kauffman Stadium, and they picked up a game in the Central Division along the way. Now 4-game lead over the Cleveland Indians, and the Tigers will have tomorrow off and then begin a 3-game series in Cleveland, and that begins on Tuesday. Austin Jackson, or Action Jackson. And on Friday night, he swung at the first pitch of the game and tripled. That was against Felipe Paulino. Bruce Chen throws a strike. And then last night, on the first pitch thrown by his pitcher, Justin Verlander, Alex Gordon appeared to hit a home run to center field until Jackson's glove got in the way.
Yeah, one of the best plays you'll ever see. Great timing, great leaping ability, and was able to hold on that ball. He snow-coned it, but was able to hold on to it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Jackson is an excellent athlete. In high school, before signing with the Yankees, he was on his way to Georgia Tech. He was going to play basketball as a point guard, and then traded to the Tigers in the same deal that sent Curtis Granderson from Detroit to New York.
Hey, go back to Bruce's last start. The one thing he said was that he thought his command wasn't as wild as the numbers may appear. He thought that he was just off by a couple of inches, and those couple of inches were either on the outside corner or on the inside corner. So if he could just work that ball to the inside corner more, to the outside, right off the outside corner, back to the plate a little bit more, maybe 2 inches the other way, then he'll get those calls. But he's going to try to live on the edge, but he's going to get more of the plate in order to get those calls.
And a little bit outside, and with a couple of pitches just missing outside. Let's be honest, a pitcher of Bruce Chen's style could use a little bit of help from the umpire.
And he's got to get it close enough to get it called, but that's why he would say, well, I'm not really wild. When you're talking about being all over the place, I'm just a little wild off the corner, inside and outside. So just bring it in a little bit further.
Starts his outing today with a strikeout of Jackson on a beautiful sunny day in Kansas City. 92 degrees at first pitch. We started right on time at 1:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCA. And if you add in the heat index today, it feels like 96 degrees down on the field. Brendan Bosch with one out and nobody on. He had the game-winning hit for the Tigers on Friday night. 1 ball, 1 strike against Bruce Chen.
So that pitch there was a good example of what we're talking about. Man, just 1 baseball off the plate. And if you can get 1 baseball on the plate, then he'll get that call, and he still won't get hurt by the hitter with that pitch.
He swung, and it's 1-2. Brendan Bosch at times is a very good bad ball hitter, which means he will go out of the strike zone and still able to make solid contact. And just missed outside. Now, according to Fox Tracks, those are not strikes, but there are some umpires that will give the pitcher, as you say, 1 baseball outside of the strike zone.
And that's true. And if you watch from the side like Bob McClure and Ed Yost, you're wondering where those pitches are.
Great start for Bruce. Back-to-back strikeouts. Jackson and Bosch on Friday night opened the game with back-to-back triples.
A very good pitch by Bruce Chen. Just a slider off the outside corner right there. Just good pitch, good location. But those pitches from the side, when you watch it from the manager's seat, you're saying they're high enough, they look like strikes, and then when Brian Payne goes back to the dugout, they're going to say, where are those pitches?
That's called a strike to Ryan Rayburn. Tigers having to shuffle around their lineup today with Victor Martinez out. Sprained his left knee late in the game last night. 0-2 on Rayburn. Rayburn batted 8th in last night's game. He has good numbers in his career against Bruce Chen, so a reason why Jim Leland moves him up to number 3. Well, there's the start the Royals and Bruce Chen were hoping for. Bruce strikes out the side. All swinging. Austin Jackson, Brendan Bosch, and Ryan Rayburn. Put his last 2 starts behind him. He's off to a good start. And now the Royals line up against Max Scherzer today.
Jeff Francoeur will be in right field. You look at that lineup led by Alex Gordon. Johnny Giabatella will be in the second spot tonight. And Mitch Meyer in for Melker Cabrera, Brian Pena, Moustakas, and Escobar.
And the key report on Max Scherzer, who is 11-6, trying to tie his career high with 12 wins. He was 12-11 last year for the Tigers. And Max Scherzer has pitched very well against the Royals. 2 starts, a 1.42 ERA. That's this year. And in his career against the Royals, 4-2. And Alex Gordon trying to lay down a bunt. The former MU Tiger, Max Scherzer, the Arizona Diamondbacks' first-round pick in 06 out of MU. The year before that, as a sophomore, he was the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. One and one on Alex. 1 for 9 in the series. Lost a 7-game hitting streak last night, and he lost a home run on the first play of the bottom of the first on a great play by Austin Jackson. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jackson also made a very good play on Johnny Giavatella later in the game on a fly ball to shallow center field. That was in the Royals' 2-run 7th. Four batters, 4 strikeouts today. And for Scherzer, that's his 116th of the season. And now look at the Tigers defensively.
So we talked about the play Jackson made in center field on Alex Gordon. Andy Dirks is in there in right field. Miguel Cabrera is at first base. And Max Scherzer will be doing the pitching. Catch caught by Alex Avila.
And Johnny Giavatella will bat second, where he has batted most of his professional career.
Well, he's got that ability to hit the ball to the right side, and with that hole open between second and first, on a man on first, he can hit that hole like he did the other night in his first start. And there's a lot of base hits over there.
In his first at-bat last night against Justin Verlander, hit a line drive whistling right by Verlander's ear. Still 0-2. Ned Yost has said that this will be temporary. He's very happy with what Melky Cabrera has done as the Royals' #2 hitter all season long, and Melky's working on a career season. But down the road, good chance this is where Johnny Giavotella will bat. Three for 7 in his first 2 big league games, with a double, a walk, a stolen base, a run scored, and an RBI. Went with a changeup, no swing, and it's 2-2. I would think this wouldn't be a huge adjustment for the Royals today compared to last night. You got a hard-throwing right-hander who has a devastating slider and a good changeup. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but they're seeing a lot today like they did last night. Giavotella breaks his bat. Rayburn throws him out, 2 away. There's Verlander, who won his 16th last night, tying CC Sabathia for the league lead.
Yeah, probably the only difference would be Scherzer got the sinking fastball, where Verlander's more of a straight four-seam fastball guy, but they're dealing with the same type changeup.
Come to find out after the game that Justin Verlander was not comfortable with his curveball last night. Billy Butler 1 out of 8 with a run scored, and he lost an 11-game hitting streak last night. Scherzer at 97 is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's one thing a guy like Verlander said, oh boy, I don't have my curveball, but he's got other stuff that he can still get you out with. He did a good job moving his fastball in and out and setting up the changeup and an occasional curveball that he did throw.
Verlander finished with 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, 5 hits, and struck out 8. Two and 2. Max Scherzer on a pretty good roll coming into the game today. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in each of his last 5 starts and in 6 of his last 7 starts. Billy pulls it just foul, and it's still 2 and 2.
See a ball boy down the line there. He just created an obstacle for himself.
And Billy down on strikes. So the first 6 batters today, 5 have struck out. Mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. 2011 Cruise to the K Day. And Frank White, who loves vintage cars, probably like to spend part of the day out there, wouldn't you?
That'd be pretty nice. That nice looking Stingray.
Bruce Chen struck out the side, all three going down swinging. And Cabrera makes contact, not very good contact, and an easy play for Hosmer in shallow right field. One away in the second inning. Today is carsoup.com email the booth day. Go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, CarSoup asks for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a different page where you can submit your question, and Joe Goldberg will be along later in today's game with some of your questions. Gene Lamont Fan Club is behind home plate today. Back to Chen, who knocks it down, has plenty of time to get Ordonez, and there are 2 outs in the second. That fellow's wearing a tiger suit, a literal suit, jacket and pants with a tiger pattern on it. It is flannel, by the way. And again, it's 96 degrees with the heat index.
Not very good.
Two balls and no strikes on Carlos Guillen. Now, that's a real fan, though. I mean, we can kind of smirk at wearing a flannel suit to a game on a day like today. But if there is a definition of a true fan, that's it.
I agree with you on that. Teams need more fans like that, but that's one this has got to be a story that starts a long time ago, and this is not a recent history. I'm a Tiger fan. He's got to be a Tiger fan from a long time ago.
Good pitch. 2-2 on Carlos Guillen.
Well, we talk about that pitch that Bruce Chen has to have, and I think that's one of them right there. Just a little bit off the plate, but Brian did a good job holding the glove there and giving the umpire a good look at it. Rob Drake has been pretty tight on those outside corners.
And a little bloop is going to land into right center field. Carlos Guillen had been 0 for his last 15. And that is the first base runner of the game.
A good piece of hitting. Is a pretty good pitch down, and Guillen really got kind of jammed on it and sliced it out into right field. So Bruce Chen can't feel too bad about this pitch. It way out front on it, didn't hit it very well, and it was down in the zone.
And he's back with a strike to Johnny Peralta. Peralta played very well against the Royals in the first 3 series this year between the two teams. But in this series, 1 out of 8, and the Royals have struck him out 4 times. Guillen is running. Pena's throw skips off of Giavatella's glove, but right over to Escobar. No further advance. That's Carlos Guillen's first stolen base.
Well, Guillen's going to go first move on Bruce Chen, and he takes a look in, then he slides in just ahead of the throw, and Giavatella does a good job trying to stay on top of this one-hop throw, but hit right on top of the glove, and Escobar did a pretty good job backing that play up.
2-2. Last year, it appeared that Johnny Peralta was on the downslide of his career. He had moved to third base with the Indians as Asdrubal Cabrera playing short, and wasn't playing all that well when he was traded to the Tigers. He homered in his first 2 official at-bats with Detroit, becoming the first Tigers player to do that. And he just continued to hit since then. Went back to his natural position at short. He is hitting .311.
You know, sometimes these guys who've been playing a little while and they start to add on a little weight and they get a little bit comfortable. He goes from shortstop to third base and then back to shortstop. And when you look at the guys that I can point to that lost considerable amount of weight and having good years would be Peralta would be one, 20 pounds or more. You got Jeff Francoeur, Melky Cabrera. All those guys lost weight, and their seasons have really turned around for them.
Hit well to left field. Alex is there. And Bruce Chen begins today with 2 scoreless innings.
On the hill for Detroit. He's had an up and down year, but pitching much better lately. Talking to Mitch Meyer about Max Scherzer, he said early in his career it looked like he was always throwing everything real hard, and then that number seemed to drop to the low 90s, but looking at some video from his recent starts, it seemed like he was back up there a little bit more. I was talking with Dan Dickerson, the Tigers radio play-by-play man, about Max Scherzer, and there you see Dan calling the game right now. And what he said was that Max Scherzer is locating his fastball much more consistently, but the other difference is that he was a little hesitant in the past to throw his slider to lefties. He's doing that more often. The numbers may show it. 305 against lefties for the year, but in his last 4 starts, lefties hitting 269 against him. Guys?
All right, thanks, Joel. And he gets 2 left-hand batters at least in this inning with Eric Hosmer. And then after Jeff Francoeur, it's Mitch Meyer. And that's line to left, but Bosch comes up to make the play. And Scherzer has retired his first 4 hitters. Here's today's Sprint You Call It question. Very simple one today. Will Bubba Starling sign with the Royals? And the deadline is in 8 days. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, A for yes, B for no. Ball 1 to Jeff Francoeur. Frank?
I'm going to say he will.
Joel?
Say there are, who knows, $6, $7, $8 million worth of reasons why he will say he will, and I'll even pin down the date. It'll be somewhere in the final moments of August 15th.
Well, I'm going to go with a yes vote as well. Francoeur, left center field. And with one out, he's at second base. I believe that's one of the winners on the Hot Watch today. Remember, if you send in your text message today, you'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint with instructions on how you can win a suite for you and 11 guests to a future Royals game. And one of our winners is here today. Brian Williams with family and friends in the Sprint suite right above us, enjoying today's game. Well, Mitch Meyer getting the start in center field, and he came on in the 4th inning last night after Melky Cabrera was still visibly bothered by his rolled left ankle, and that happened on Tuesday night against the Orioles, going back into first base on a pickoff. Mitch, 4 out of 7 against Max Scherzer. Two balls and one strike. 77% say yes, Bubba Starling will sign with the Royals. The other 23% are season ticket holders to University of Nebraska football. 3 balls and one strike. I would think it would be just agonizing for the kid and for the family to sit around through all of this. And of course, when Mike Moustakas was going through this, Eric Hosmer was going through this, it's easy for us on this side to go, I mean, do you want to play or not?
Yeah, that's an easy one to ask. That's an easy question to ask right there. Because most guys, you grew up, you want to play, but he's in an unusual position where he's a multi-sport star, and he's been wanted by a major university like Nebraska. So it can be difficult. I would go back to when John Mayberry's son signed. You know, he was offered a bunch of money from Seattle, and Big John was saying sign, and his mother Jan was saying he's going to school. He ended up going to Stanford, and then he signed after his junior year. So it's a family thing. A lot of times is what's important to the family.
Myers strikes out. By the way, that's another winner in the Hot Watch right there. A play at the plate. It's a put out for the catcher. So we got winners all over the place. And for Scherzer, that's his 3rd strikeout.
That's a play at the plate.
Isn't it? I mean, if I look at the scorecard, if I look at the written play-by-play of the game, there was a put out at the plate. Fouled away by Brian Pena.
I guess the next word would pop up would be intent. What was the intent of that question?
Brian Pena with 2 outs last night in the 7th inning. Ended a personal 0 for 12 with an RBI double. And that made it a 1-run game, 4-3 Tigers. Unfortunately, the Royals didn't score after that. And 4-3 was the final score. Both Max Scherzer and Bruce Chen have 3 strikeouts already. Pena starting in back-to-back games after Manny Pena, when he was just called up, started in 3 consecutive games. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in today's game. Jeff Francoeur with a one-out double in the second inning, and he's a prime candidate for a Taste Greatness moment. He has 7 hits in his last 14 at-bats. Brian Pena trying to get him home with 2 outs. Very, very close. 98 miles an hour at the knees over the outside corner. But all you can do with that pitch is watch it.
And you can't do anything with it. That's his pitch. But Joel alluded to the fact he doesn't like to throw sliders to left-handers, but he went with changeup away, fastball away, and he seemed to prefer to changeup to left-handed hitters rather than going underneath their swing with his slider.
That got a lot of the plate. Bosch over into left center field, and that's the inning. The Royals leave Jeff Francoeur at second base. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. And by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. There's an old Ford Model T among the other vintage cars arriving at Kauffman Stadium in the 2011 Cruise to the K. And there's another Model T, as in T Ford. Get it? But he's parked in the Royals bullpen for now. Good start for Bruce Chen. He struck out the side in the first, gave up a 2-out single and a stolen base in the second, but that's it. And it'll be Alex Avila, Andy Dirks, and Austin Jackson in the third. Bruce in there with strike one. Avila 2 out of 7 with a home run on Friday night, an impressive home run to straightaway center field. That was a swing, and it's 0-2. No need for third base umpire Alan Porter on appeal. That was taken care of by home plate umpire Rob Drake. Rob Drake, by the way, was the umpire that was involved in that animated and heated argument with the Cardinals' Yadier Molina earlier this week. Rob Drake calling Molina out on strikes, and Molina getting right in his face. Apparently there was some spray coming from Molina's mouth that got in Rob Drake's face, and as a result Molina was suspended for 5 games. Slice to left and slicing foul. Still 1-2. Coming up during the Royals' next homestand, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox will both be here. The Yankees series begins on Monday, August 15th. That's a 3-game series through Wednesday. And then Boston's here for a 4-game series beginning on Thursday, August 18th, and that runs through Sunday. You want to get those tickets now, so go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Curveball got him looking. 4 strikeouts for Bruce Chen.
Really, that's been really the missing pitch for me. I think Bruce Chen has a very good curveball, and he uses it right there. But his last start, he didn't throw many curveballs, relied mainly on his fastball, cutter, and changeup. So the curveball right now is a good pitch for him.
So Bruce not typically a strikeout pitcher, but he is against the Tigers this year. In 8 1/3 innings, Bruce has 11 strikeouts. He's going to get a fly ball out this time. Andy Dirks into the glove of Mitch Meyer in center field, 2 down. Remember, you can follow every Royals game through Game Connect at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. As you watch the game on TV, you can join the conversation about the game on Twitter. You can track trends and stats, and it's all at Game Connect at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. Austin Jackson off the knuckles, 1 hop to Escobar, and that's the inning. A 7-pitch 3rd inning for Bruce Chen. This is Eagle Scout Skylar Ross from Troop 169 in Basehor, Kansas. He put his skills to work in a dramatic life-saving rescue in April 2010. The teenager from Linwood, Kansas, and his father Matt witnessed a woman's suicide attempt as he jumped off the Wyandotte Street Bridge over the Kansas River. Quite a story. After calling 911, the father and son, along with local firemen, sprinted down to the river to race alongside the woman. When she got caught on a snag near a steep bank, Skylar was able to hold out a branch to the woman and remain with her until emergency crews arrived. I would think that would be worthy of the Buck O'Neil legacy seat. Frank, what do you think?
More than one night. I'd say that's takes a lot to be able to do what he did.
Up the middle, backhanded by Guillen, who makes a nice smooth throw back to first. Mike Moustakas is the first out of the 3rd inning. Well, the range isn't there like it used to be, but the hands and the smooth motion still are. Let's take a look at our league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Top records within their own division. And no surprise that all of these teams lead their divisions. Red Sox and Yankees are tied for first in the East. As Escobar lifts it to right field, and Dirks, having no trouble with the sun, makes the play. And really, that's no surprise looking at teams that have played well within their own division. And then we knew when the schedule went from a balanced schedule, meaning everybody plays teams in their own league an equal amount of times, whether they're in the same division or not, going to an unbalanced schedule, more games against teams within the division, that would be the #1 priority. And the Tigers, 9 games above 500 if you count up all of their wins and losses. Against the division, they are 12 games above 500, 25-13.
And those are whole games. I mean, those are games you take care of business yourself and you didn't rely on anyone else to get it done for you. And when you get down into September, when you have to face teams in your division, then those early wins against those teams really pay big dividends for your ball club.
Two strikes on Alex Gordon. He struck out swinging in the first inning. 1 out of 10 in the series. Tigers are in the middle of stretch of 31 out of 38 against the Central. And from here, they will travel to Cleveland. They'll have an off day tomorrow. And then play a 3-game series with the Indians. Indians are wrapping up a series in Texas today. On the ground to Cabrera, who gets a big hop. And it's an easy inning for Scherzer. And at the end of 3 at Kauffman Stadium, no score. Max Scherzer and Bruce Chen. Big difference in velocity as we look at the wideband internet pitch speeds, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. But not much difference as far as their lines go. In fact, no difference. Both pitchers have given up no runs, 1 hit. Bruce Chen has struck out 4. Max Scherzer has struck out 3. Brennan Bosch, Ryan Rayburn, and Miguel Cabrera coming up in the 4th inning. It is bunted up the third base side. And I thought I heard Brian Pena yelling, "Let it go, let it go, let it go," which is the middle of August answer to the Christmas song, "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow." Brendan Bosch struck out in the first inning. Bruce Chen struck out the side. Bruce added another strikeout against Alex Avila in the 3rd inning. The Tigers with just 1 base runner in the first 3 innings against Bruce Chen. 1-2. Bruce with 6 scoreless innings against the Tigers back in April and 7 strikeouts. So 9 scoreless innings if you combine the two, and 11 strikeouts, and now make it 12 as Bosch strikes out for a second time. So Bruce, trying to bounce back after his previous 2 starts, has done that and then some in the first 3 and the 3rd innings.
Well, mixing it up really well between his curveball and fastball, moving both sides of the plate, and Bosch probably looking for something off speed. Bruce throws a fastball over the outside corner.
Curveball is high to Ryan Rayburn. He was a strikeout victim in the first inning. Rayburn with 5 career hits and 2 home runs against Bruce Chen. Victor Martinez out of the lineup, spraining his left knee late in the game, although by the time the game was over, by the time Victor Martinez got to the clubhouse after being helped off the field, was feeling much better, but Jim Leland not wanting to risk further injury with such an important bat. He's out of the lineup. So Rayburn bats 3rd. And now a 2-1 pitch from Chen. 3 balls, 1 strike. Full count.
Yeah, Bruce has got to feel pretty confident in all of his pitches right now. The cutter's been a good pitch for him. The right-hander is when he keeps it around the hands. But when he gets in this situation with 3 pitches working for him, it's kind of hard for the hitter to sit on anything.
Into the left field corner. Rayburn out in front, and he pulls it foul. Plenty of distance. And it's just a long, loud foul ball and a souvenir. Well, from my memory, and this was a while ago, that Bruce pitched about the same game against the Tigers in April, and that was what I had written down with my post-game notes on Bruce Chen's start against the Tigers, that he had all pitches working, and in particular, he had a very good curveball that day. There's a changeup fouled away, still 3-2. He's had a couple of strikeouts with his curveball today among his 5. So he is just 2 shy of his season high, and that was against the Tigers. Still 3-2.
Yeah, back-to-back changeups. Just can't get it to fall away. It's staying more in the middle of the plate, and Raven's able to get some of the bat on it. If he can get it to go down in a way, he's got a better chance of getting a strikeout with that pitch or getting a low ground ball to 3rd or short.
Check swing. Giavotella to the grass, and on target to Hosmer.
Now Bruce throws a 3rd changeup in a row, and Raven gets right over the mound. Giavotella comes in, gets his feet set, and makes a nice throw to Hosmer on a short hop right over the mound. Hand over the top of the glove, right in there with the ball. Got to grip it and let it go.
Miguel Cabrera popped out to first in the 2nd inning. And for the most part, compared to what he's done in other series, he has been quiet against the Royals in this one, and really for all of the Royals Tigers series. Pena with that high target, and it's fouled off of first and out of play. Miguel Cabrera is a career .328 hitter against the Royals with 52 RBIs. But this year, 100 points lower, .238. Bruce drops down and misses outside, 1-2. Two balls, two strikes. Line into the left field corner and off the bottom of the wall. And Alex Gordon going for second base. A relay, and Cabrera is out. Another outfield assist for Alex Gordon. And now he has the record all to himself. That's 18. That is a new Royals record. We still have a month and a half to go in the season.
Well, he's destined to get a few more. He does a good job of hitting the relay, man. Escobar out in short left field, and he makes the throw to Johnny Giavotella, and he makes a nice tag on Cabrera. You know, lack of speed definitely helped in that situation on Cabrera's part.
Now, if the baselines are just 88 feet, Cabrera's safe.
Definitely safe, but Giavotella picks up this nice short hop, waits for the right moment to make a tag, and makes the out.
Now, I know you like that play, Frank, because it wasn't just a swipe and took his glove completely out of the play. The foot wasn't there, but his glove was still there, and he was able to get to the leg, as opposed to, I know at times you've been preaching that you shouldn't just swipe the glove across the bag.
Well, if he does it there, then Cabrera's probably safe. I mean, you got to really stay with it. Well, I think the initial move he made was he didn't know exactly where he was. He thought he was right there for that quick tag, but he wasn't quite there yet, so he stayed with it, and then he made the tag when he got closer to the base.
And Giavotella gets it past Cabrera. Dirks is on it quickly, but Giavotella is into second base with his second major league double.
I really think we're going to have a chance to see this a lot from Johnny Giavotella. I mean, he likes to wait for that ball to get there. He likes to hit the ball to the right side, and the second double he's hit inside the line at first base. And he just makes a good turn, tosses into second base. I want to see that head first slide of his again. I mean, he gets some lift off when he does that head first slide.
I have a feeling we're going to see plenty of that. So a leadoff double now Scherzer to Billy Butler. Scherzer struck him out in the first inning. Got him with a fastball. Billy just 1 out of 9 so far in the series. And that gets away from Avila. So Giavotella goes to third with nobody out. The Royals have not led in this series. Playing from behind all weekend. Trying to take an early lead in the 4th inning today.
You can see right here, Scherzer's throwing his changeup a lot today, but just got too much underneath that one and hooked it to the outside. And Avila wasn't able to adjust to it and got by for a wild pitch.
Two and one.
Good RBI opportunity here for Billy Butler. Just try to keep the ball off the corners, keep it in the middle of the field, and they're giving you this 1 run.
Great catch. Oh, a fan who brought his glove. He has the right jersey on today. His powder blue jersey, his powder blue cap. Reaching up and back into the row behind him for a souvenir. Two and two on Billy Butler. One hop to Peralta. That'll get the run in. And the Royals lead 1-0 in the 4th inning.
It was supposed to be a slide on the outside corner. Scherzer left it out over the plate. Billy gets a ground ball, and he's got a shot at home if he wants to take it. Giavotella gets off a good jump at third base, but it would have been a risky play had he not gotten him. But usually on a one hopper to one of the infielders, you do take a look at it, especially if he doesn't get a good jump off third base.
No balls and 2 strikes on Hosmer, who lined out to left field in the 2nd inning. Just missed outside, 1-2. Coming up on Tuesday, August 16th, Billy Butler will be at High V, located off I-29 and 64th Street from 12:30 to 1:30. Billy will be signing autographs and distributing free cans of Pepsi Max to the lunch crowd. Pepsi Max and High V, proud partners of the Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City. And Hosmer with a base hit into right field. So he's had 2 good swings against Scherzer. Only 1 hit to show for it. And he's on with 1 out.
I'm kind of curious why Max Scherzer won't throw his slider. He's mainly going fastball, changeup, and here's another changeup. That the changeup's really not falling off the way he wants it to. So if the Royals hitters can eliminate that slider, they look for fastball, changeup, they got a better chance of getting the ball hard. That's Hosmer did right there.
And now Jeff Francoeur, who is 7 for his last 14, hitting a 1-out double in the second inning. His third extra base hit in this series. A couple of doubles. And the game last night against Justin Verlander, hit a home run. His team leading 15th of the year. There's a slider in for a strike, 0-1. That was a swing. Gary Darling, the first base umpire and crew chief, makes the call. It's 0-2.
Another slider that really backed up. He's thrown 3 sliders. One to Billy Butler that Billy was able to hit for a 1-hop ground ball to shortstop. And the first slider to Jeff Francoeur was a flat slider out over the plate, and that one backed up. So maybe he's not throwing it to the lefty because he doesn't have that sharp break to get it down underneath that left-hander swing.
Still 0-2. Fox Sports Kansas City is your home for the Big 12. Look ahead to football season in the Missouri football preview and Kansas football preview tomorrow after Royals baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City. Down goes Francoeur, and that's the 4th strikeout for Max Scherzer. Let's try this again. This is what we call in the television business a mess up. However, every Wednesday at Kauffman Stadium is Ink Student Night and Local Music Showcase. You'll get a $7 game ticket, pregame happy hour specials, and enjoy one of KC's best bands. And coming up on Wednesday, August 17th, music from The Good Foot before the Royals take on the Yankees at 7:10. And, of course, we always encourage you to watch Fox Sports Kansas City and look ahead to the football season with the Missouri football preview and the Kansas football preview. That's tomorrow after the Royals and the Rays. Osmer at first, 2 down. Mitch Meyer at the plate. Scherzer struck him out in the second inning. Royals 3 hits against Scherzer, but 2 are extra base hits, a couple of doubles. Remember, the Royals came back from the road trip in Boston and Cleveland and were really piling up the extra base hits. Royals entered this series with the Tigers with 12 home runs in their previous 8 games. But in the first 2 games, only 3 extra base hits against the Tigers, 2 doubles and a home run. So off to a good start today. A 1-0 lead against Max Scherzer with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Two and 1.
Hosmer's got a real big lead there at first base.
And Meyer drives it into right center field. Jackson on the move, and it's off his glove. Another extra base hit. Meyer will go to third with an RBI triple.
Well, Mitch jumps all over this fastball on the inner half and drives it into right center field. He got good extension on it, and Austin Jackson went a long, long way and just did get this ball off the end of his glove. Great effort by Jackson, but ball goes off the wall, and Meyer ends up with a triple. Eric Hosmer scores on the base hit.
So 4 hits, 3 extra base hits. And now Brian Pena with a chance to drive in Meyer. Brian flied out to left field in the second inning.
Oh, and Mitch hit that ball. I thought there was no way that anyone's going to get close to that ball before it hit the ground. But Jackson covered a lot of ground in a short period of time.
No appeal. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, look at him on the left field side at second base and well on the left field side. You see where this ball is hit by Meyer, and he just goes forever.
I thought he had no chance.
I did too. I mean, when they first hit, but look how far he goes. I mean, he that's a wide receiver.
Brian Pena into right field, and that'll drop for a base hit. So it's a 3-run fourth and a 3-0 lead.
They say it's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it. And Brian, this ball, it gets in on Brian a little bit, and he's able to force it out in the right field for a base hit. It's just above the trademark. He was strong enough to get it out there and get him a base hit and an RBI as Meyer scored.
Ball 1 to Mike Moustakas. Grounded out on a good play by second baseman Carlos Guillen in the 3rd inning. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. It's a 30-pitch inning for Max Scherzer. Royals with 3 runs and 2 coming with 2 out. Meyer and Pena with RBI base hits. Billy Butler drove in the first run with a ground out. And Moustakas again to Guillen. And that's the inning. Royals come up with 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 extra base hits.
Ryan, he feels good about not only the score, but he's got to feel good about his pitches. Right now, everything's working for him, and he just got to continue to throw strikes and let his defense work.
He's pitched very well against the Tigers this year. If you combine his 2 starts, 10 innings, no runs, and 12 strikeouts. Now, Bruce in his career against the Tigers, and this was before today, an ERA that was over 6. But this year, that's been a good matchup for him. Maglio Ordonez leads off and takes strike 1. Ordonez, Guillen, and Peralta. And Bruce is doing a little bit of everything today.
Well, pitching is all about rhythm, and right now Bruce Chen is in a real good rhythm, not only on the mound, but on the defensive side also, and he helps himself. He becomes the fielder once he lets that ball go. He's just getting the ball and says, here, let's go.
Fouled back by Carlos Guillen. He singled and stole a base in the second inning, putting an end to an 0 for 15. Tigers with that base hit in the second, and Miguel Cabrera's base hit in the fourth, although on one play Cabrera tried to stretch it into a double, and Alex Gordon, with some help from Alcides Escobar, threw him out. So really Bruce has only had to pitch with 1 runner all day. Moustakis picks it up, and there are 2 down in the 5th. You can reserve your spot in the best kids club in Major League Baseball, and for just $20, it's a powder blue batting practice jersey, Royals cap, 2 Royals game ticket vouchers, and much more. That's presented by US Toy. Visit Royals.com/Blue Crew to order your child's Blue Crew package today. 2 down to Johnny Peralta, who lined out to left in the second inning. Just 1 for his last 12, and way out in front, fooled by a slow curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Bruce is really feeling it. I mean, 2 different speeds on his curveball, and that one had a lot more snap to it at the end.
Two balls and 1 strike.
That was pretty interesting sequence of pitches there. Curveball on a drop down from the side and came right back up the same arm slot with the fastball.
Moustakis, great play on a sharp 1-hopper and a good throw over to Hosmer. To the bottom of the 5th, 3-0 Royals. Here comes the ground. dark. We understand there is some extreme weather in the area. 3-0 Royals, and we'll take a look at our AT&T trivia question for today. Who were the managers for the 1973 All-Star Game in Kansas City? Well,
wow.
Who went to the World Series in '72?
A's. So would they be Dick Williams?
And because they were what, 71, 72, 73, right? Or was it 72, 73, 74? Well, it was 72.
It was 3 in a row.
Yeah, we don't need to get off of the path too much. So Dick Williams.
Did they play?
They beat the Dodgers in one. They beat the Reds in one.
I want to say Cincinnati. I want to say Sparky Anderson maybe.
In the house. Remember we were talking about the patches on the Tiger jerseys. Dick Williams, Sparky Anderson. Is that our final answer?
That's our final answer.
Escobar lays down a bunt, and it's foul. That took all but what, 25 seconds to figure that one out? Good work, Frank.
It took a we had to collaborate on that one pretty good.
Escobar flied to right field first time up against Max Scherzer. Royals scored all 3 of their runs in the 4th. Scherzer has his 5th strikeout. Well, Royals fans, you can take batting practice with Royals alumni at Kauffman Stadium on August 27th. The Royals alumni batting practice includes a light breakfast, t-shirt and shorts, an autographed baseball, and 4 2012 ticket vouchers. To purchase your batting practice package, call 816-504-4150. Alex Gordon has struck out, grounded out to first against Max Scherzer. Off of Avila's mask, and it's 0-2.
Well, you've seen it so many times this year, and the catchers are taking some of those solid shots right into the face. And like I say, it's amazing that they're able to just bounce right back without getting up and shaking the cobwebs out.
One ball, 2 strikes. And it's 2-2. Royals, in their first 2 turns against Max Scherzer this year, scored only 2 runs in 12 2/3 innings. But today they have 3 runs in 4 1/3 innings. And Alex fills out the count after falling behind. 0-2. Mentioned early in the game that Max Scherzer had 5 straight starts allowing 2 earned runs or less, and that came to an end in the 4th inning. And 2 earned runs or less in 6 of his last 7 starts. So he was pitching very well. Had given up just 1 hit in the first 3 innings, and then the Royals coming up with 3 runs, 4 hits in the 4th.
Well, it's 3-2 count right here, Ryan. He hasn't thrown that slider to a lefty, so Alex can pretty much look for a fastball or change up away, but the pitch is usually going to be away.
Great plate appearance. Down 0-2. Got it to 3-2. Fouled off a pitch, and Scherzer walks his first. You know, the question keeps coming up, Frank. You know, what to do with Alex Gordon and who will be the long-term leadoff hitter for the Royals. And What's wrong with Alex Gordon leading off? I mean, he is just really taken to that spot in the batting order.
Well, until they can find someone that runs like Gerard Dyson and hits like Alex Gordon, and I think Alex Gordon's got to be the guy. I mean, he hasn't done anything but he's done everything that they've asked him to do in that and then some. But to be able to be up there with an opportunity to be on second base in the first inning or even up by one in the first inning, that's something you can't overlook.
I mean, if somebody like, as you said, Dyson or Lorenzo Cain, who has more speed, and they prove that they can be a productive leadoff hitter, I mean, you would have to entertain that, but I don't think Alex has done anything to warrant a move somewhere else. I mean, I guess, yeah, you'd like his bat in the middle of the order, but he still has some value hitting for power from the leadoff spot. He has plate appearances like he just had, gets on base, and when he gets on base, he scores runs.
Well, Alex will take he will take a walk, and that's one of the plus things about him. But I was meaning that they need a guy with that kind of speed and his kind of power all in one body, and to replace him at the top of the order right now.
You know, to take it a step further, every now and then Alex isn't afraid to lay down a bunt.
Well, he's been trying a little bit more lately. I think he and Cabrera both have been trying to add that to their game a little bit more.
One ball, one strike on Giavotella. Dark clouds coming in from the west, northwest. And then you look out to the east, northeast, still beautiful blue sky, but we've been told there is some extreme weather, and those are some angry clouds coming in from the west. Alex runs, the Tigers pitch out, so they saw that coming, and Alex is thrown out. I still think he'd be a good leadoff man. Well, he has been a good leadoff man.
We both are going to pull for him in that.
His on-base percentage this year, when he is batting in the leadoff spot, is .390. It's .372 anywhere. Driven into the left field corner, and it's the first major league home run for Johnny Giavotella.
Well, we talked about how quick his bat is and how short his swing is, and you saw on that fastball on the inner half, he was able to get the head out and keep that ball down the line off the foul pole for his first major league home run. And look at this, look how quick this happened. I mean, that's just like lightning. Those hands are so quick. And he knew right away that he had the distance, but he didn't know if it was going to stay fair or not, but he got through this fastball very well.
Billy on the ground to Carlos Guillen. And that's the end of the inning. Royals had another run, and at the end of 5, lead 4-0. They got to put the lights tell him all about Johnny Giavatella's first major league home run, and as is often the case, the silent treatment. And so he says, to heck with you. But when he returns, everybody crowded around him and gave him high fives and hugs.
Oh, wow.
Well, we told you about the weather. There's the teammates giving him some love. The weather has arrived. The rain has not. But all of a sudden, Kauffman Stadium is the site of a dust storm. And the flags are about to be ripped from the flag poles. That strong wind out of the west-northwest. I don't know if there's any chance that the rain could miss the ballpark, but they're going to play through it. And Alex Avila hits a wind cutter line drive into center field to begin the 6th inning.
Yeah, one of the good indications is the ground crew. The tarp is still over the cover's still over the tarp down the right field line.
Well, I tell you what, I would hate to be a member of the grounds crew today and trying to put a tarp on the field with this wind.
Remember Washington?
Yeah. Inside to Andy Dirks, who flied to center in the 3rd inning. Born in Hutchinson, Kansas. Grew up in Burton, Kansas. Went to Haven High School. Then Hutchinson Community College and eventually Wichita State. And he hits it down into the right field corner into the dust. Coming around third is Avila. Jeff Francoeur's throw isn't in time, and Andy Dirks puts the Tigers on the board. It is 4-1. So dust, hot dog wrappers, napkins, and line drives flying around Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, Dirks gets a changeup and hits it down the line. Francoeur gets to it quickly and heaves his ball all the way to home plate, just behind Avila sliding. Avila comes in all the way from first base.
So runner at second with nobody out, and Austin Jackson takes a strike, 0-1. There is a chance, according to Kevin Schenk, who is our team meteorologist. He studied that at KU. And he's keeping an eye on the radar. Normally with weather like this, you would expect to see the Royals grounds crew behind the tarp, ready to put the tarp on the field at any time. And I'm not saying this because they are our grounds crew, but Trevor Vance is on top of the weather and the field conditions and the threat of rain as much as anybody in all of baseball. I can promise you that. And because there is no grounds crew behind the tarp, it leads us to believe that perhaps we're just getting the wind of the storm and the rain is all to the north. So there is a chance that we will not get any rain. We're certainly getting the wind, and we're getting the change of the weather. And that's why they're playing through it. I mean, when that wind whipped up, I just automatically assumed that we were going to see the tarp. Now, the splash you're seeing on the lens there of the camera, that's from the fountains in the outfield. We have not had a drop of rain. Still 1-2 on Austin Jackson. Those are some mean-looking clouds coming in from the west. There's Royals head groundskeeper Trevor Vance.
Well, fly ball right now would be very interesting, to say the least.
It should be treated, anything in the air should be treated like a basketball drill when somebody shoots the basket and everyone's goal is to turn and go to the ball, because you never know how it's going to kick off the rim, who might get the rebound. If the ball's hit in the air, all 9 should keep an eye on it, because we have no idea where it will end up.
The flags don't mean a thing right now.
Close play at second base, but Dirks is back in time.
Yeah, the outfielder said hit ground balls.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And another great catch in the crowd today. This one in the upper deck off to the first base side, and now we're getting flashes of lightning and rumbling of thunder, but not one drop of rain. Still 1-2. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White and Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium as Jackson fouls another pitch away with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. Five straight foul balls from Austin Jackson and 6 total in this plate appearance, still hanging in there at 1-2. Jackson has struck out and grounded out against Bruce Chen. He is 0 for his last 8. Another foul ball. I don't know if I've seen a more frightening looking sky in my life without one single raindrop. I mean, I've seen a sky like this before, but normally buckets of water are coming with it, and now we're getting a few drops. Well, nothing compared to what it looks like it should be doing. Jackson into the left field corner, and it stays fair, so he'll trade places with Dirks. And it is 4-2. And now the grounds crew comes running out, and they're going to position themselves behind the tarp. So a very good at bat for Austin Jackson. It was a 10-pitch, 7 foul ball at bat.
Well, you got the lightning, you got the thunder, you got people moving.
And
everybody needs help in this win.
I don't know if they're putting that on or they're trying to take it off. I think they're trying to take it off because Tim Collins is warming up in front of the mound. Outside to Brennan Bosch.
Well, this is all about concentration right now with so much going on around Bruce Chen out there, just trying to maintain his concentration and make his pitches.
Two balls and no strikes. And now here comes the tarp. So we will have a rain delay, and man, if they can get the tarp down on the field, it will be a huge accomplishment. So a rain delay and a 4-2 game in the top of the 6th inning. Tigers with a runner at second base and 2 balls and no strikes on Brennan Bosch. We had one guy that went rolling over the tarp and was able to stay in front of it. Down a second time. They say that fear is the greatest human motivator, and I think that fella knew that if he didn't get up, he would be in big trouble. And they have gotten the tarp on the field. And they got it down just in time. It is absolutely pouring at Kauffman Stadium. So, as we wait out a rain delay, and our forecast from our meteorologist Kevin Shank would suggest that the rain will not last very long, but at least keeping the moisture off of the mound, the area around home plate in the dirt, we will have a delay. And during our delay, we mentioned earlier, it's a carsoup.com email the booth day. So go to carsoup.com/Royals. Submit your question. We have some of them, and let's bring in Joel Goldberg.
All right, Ryan, let's start with Scott Mitchum in Ellenwood, Kansas. Wants to know what was the funniest thing ever a first baseman said to Frank after he got on base. And if you can't think of one, Frank, just tell some John Mayberry stories when you were playing next to him.
Well, Joel, when I played, a lot of times the first baseman wouldn't even talk to you. You know, they just basically said, "What's up?" That's it. And they went about their business of playing baseball, but they didn't really share a lot of conversation like you see today in today's game.
Yeah, now there's so much more, and we've talked about that before. But, and you've mentioned this, but we should bring it up again, playing next to John Mayberry was always entertaining, right?
Oh, very entertaining, especially on hot Sunday afternoons. And if you had a pitcher on the mound and it really wasn't throwing strikes and he was taking too much time in between, John didn't like that very much at all. So he would have a few words to say to the pitcher to get him moving.
We've got a question from Drew Porter, and don't have a city, just says Kansas. But he wants to know, will we see Salvador Perez or Mike Montgomery during the September call-up? And everybody always kind of wondering about those next prospects. Guys, I talked to Dayton Moore about this yesterday, and one thing that I think sometimes we forget is sort of the timing for some of these guys. And in Salvador Perez's case, he'll need to be added onto the 40-man roster this offseason. So it would make sense to put him on the 40-man roster perhaps and get him up in September. That's an option. In Mike Montgomery's case, and again, all of these kids, you got to put them on the 40-man roster to get them up here. Mike does not need to be on the 40-man this offseason. So, you know, he has been battling some control, and they may not need to get him up here or want to get him up here at that point. But there's a, you know, there's a way they go about all this stuff.
Well, and, you know, this particular group led by Dayton Moore, one thing that has been consistent with them since taking over is they have not rushed anybody to the big leagues. They have not put somebody on this team that wasn't ready. There may have been a short-term need, but, you know, if they're going to be this patient up till this point, and with a player as important as Salvador Perez, and, you know, this is a young guy who played, almost all of last year in A-ball, didn't he, Joel?
A-ball mostly, AA this
AA.
year, just up to AAA. And, you know, Ryan, I mean, he just turned 21 this summer.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing on Salvador, and for anybody that, you know, has been to Northwest Arkansas or Omaha or to spring training, I mean, this kid, you could see it when you look at him. Frank, you were out on the field with him, and anybody says he was probably ready defensively to be a big leaguer at 19 years old. But he was just 19, and that would be thunder. But, you know, it's a good point, Ryan. There doesn't need to be a rush on these kids, and everybody wants them to get here because they've heard about it for so long. And I always tell people that Eric Hosmer may be the exception. What he's doing at 21 is a lot more abnormal than, say, what Mike Moustakas is doing at 22. This typically takes some time, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Johnny Giavatello is off to an incredible start. It's only 3 days. Let's see what happens here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right, Joel, and I think Ryan hit it right on the head where in the previous administration they had guys rush to the big leagues just because they were just in line to come, and they didn't really dominate at their level. And what Eric Hosmer did at AAA, Johnny Giavatello at AAA, guys who proved over a long number of games and at bats that they can be pretty consistent, and just having that luxury of not having to rush those guys has paid dividends, really, because they really are ahead of their schedule, because everybody was looking at maybe September and then 2012. Now most of them have gotten here now, and they're producing now and getting better and getting experience, and they're getting under a good environment, an environment that everybody's talking about winning. There's a positive influence in the clubhouse from Francoeur and Cabrera and Jeff Francis, some of those guys, and every day they come out here to compete. They feel like they can win every day, and when you get around guys like that, that really pays dividends. And these guys all won together in the minor leagues, so they like playing with each other, and they know what the goal is, and they know what the end of the road is for those guys, what they're trying to get accomplished at this level.
I've had a bunch of questions today, too, as people see what Johnny Giavotella is doing. And, who knows what his numbers will be at the end of the season here. But we do know that this energy that we're seeing will be the way we see him play every single day. But people wondering, why didn't they call up Johnny Giavotella sooner? And, he's the 10th player to make his big league debut in a Royals uniform. You can't call him up all at once. And, one of my responses would be, if they had, say, called him up in June, what would be different at this point? Would they suddenly be in first or second place? I'm not so sure. So they've had to pick their spots of who and when to call up. And you know what? In June, and July for that matter, Wilson Betemit was here. Mike Aviles was back and forth, but they've moved those players. They've opened some spots up to give some of these guys a chance for the future.
Well, before Dayton Moore and his group took over, it always seemed like AAA wasn't really that important of a spot. A lot of guys came straight up from AA. But I remember J.J. Piccolo said very early on when he came to Kansas City that AAA would be an important stop for every young Royal coming up through the system. And it wouldn't be, for a week or a couple weeks. There was something to accomplish. There was something to prove at that level. Johnny Giavotella, he played all of last year at AA. Played one game at AAA. And so, you can pick the number or whatever you want, Joel. You can make it 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, whatever. But the application is the same. We'll just use 2 months, for example. Most teams would rather have a guy get to the big leagues 2 months late than 2 months too soon. You can lose a guy if he gets to the big leagues too soon, and he's struggling at this highest level. He doesn't know why. It's hard to make changes. It's hard to make adjustments on the fly here like you can at lower levels. So, personally, I like the fact that just about every guy that has come up from the minor leagues, they're contributing right away. It's not like they have to carry some guy who's a load. Everybody that comes up has given this team a lift in some form or another. And that started in 06 when I had all those number one draft choices in 06 in Wichita AA. This is JJ's first year, and they told all the guys at the beginning of the season, you will be here at the end of the year. And they let Mitch Meyer, Lebansky, Alex, Billy, all those guys stayed there that the entire season, and we only moved one guy out of need at AAA was Matt Tupman. So they got to play together the whole year. They won together. They got to play in the playoffs together, and then they moved on from there. And up until 2 years ago, AAA wasn't a very heavily talented, and from a standpoint of having prospects at that level, you just didn't have many. And so you talk to Mike Jersley now, the last 2 years have been probably two of the most fun years for him because he's had genuine prospects to work with and develop, and they've done their degree of winning.
And there's more coming, and so this isn't just that's it and you're done, and that's what they're trying to do is as the AA kids move to AAA, have the high A kids move up to AA and keep that system churning them out. Before we get to the next question, I just want to touch on one more thing and ask Frank a question because, in Salvador Perez's case, in the last weekend, Matt Traynor went down with the concussion. And one thing that was easier to do is to bring Manny Pena up over Salvador Perez because Pena is on the 40-man roster. Salvador Perez is not yet on the 40-man roster. But one of the other responses I got was, Salvador Perez has been in AAA for 1 week. And you guys talk about AAA, and I said, let's let him hit some AAA pitching here for a while. And Frank, we hear that talked about all the time, just figuring out AAA pitching and how AAA pitching is different than AA pitching, not just because it's the next level up, but sometimes a different style of pitching.
Well, you get tricked a lot more at that AAA level. AA, 2-1, 2-0, 3-1. A lot of times you will get fastballs. Where you get to AAA, those guys can throw sliders and hidden counts, change up to hidden counts. You're facing guys that have been in the big leagues for a little while, 4A players still pitching at that level. So the old term is they take you to school in AAA, and they teach you a different type of game. They teach you to think more as a hitter. But in Manny Pena's case, you've already got Salvador Perez ticketed for the major leagues. You got him ticketed to be the number one catcher at this level. So why not use that time like the Royals did to bring Manny Pena to the big leagues and find out what he's got? Because he spent most of this year in AAA. So I thought that was a good move on their part to get a look at him. And I agree with you, Joel, that AAA is a tough level not to go to, because Alex Gordon skipped AAA, and you see the trouble that he had coming straight here 1 year out of college in AA, then the big leagues, and now he's finally starting to put it together. So I think AAA is a level that I think all players need to touch at some point.
Here's a question from Adam Suderman in Wichita. I'll ask you guys, and then maybe we can bring Monty in for his expertise. What about looking at guys such as Coleman and Crow as starters? We've heard both of those names mentioned, and Ned Yost even hinted at maybe looking at Greg Holland next year in that role. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I think that anything you want to try is good. I think you got to look at the complement of pitches that they have and the command of them. You know, Holland's got enough pitches. He's got the fastball, curveball. He's got a good split finger. And, Coleman's got 3 pitches, his fastball, slider, and his curveball. He's learning now how to soften that curveball up on first pitch. But Lewis Coleman, I think, is going to be more suited, I think, for the bullpen for what he's got. I mean, he's a fastball slider guy, and I think that is a good 1 inning, maybe 2 inning guy that they could use in the bullpen. But as far as starters go, I think between Crow and between Holland, you can take a look at them strong because they've got the complement of pitches that you can look at, and it'd be a matter of command at that point.
Monty, how about you?
Well, I think need for starting pitching at this level, I think there's probably going to be a necessity to give at least one of those guys an opportunity to try it, but there's no guarantee based on their success as a relief pitcher that they will be as successful as they have been in the bullpen as a starting pitcher. But I think there will need to be some way to bolster the starting rotation, because we know without an improved starting rotation, this team doesn't have the chance to get to the next level.
All right, real quick, this from Nick Moch. He's from Wake Forest, North Carolina, but he's over in Germany. What was your best moment as broadcasters for Fox Sports Kansas City? I know we only have a couple of minutes, but I'd say, guys, last night and when we did it a couple of years ago, our This One's For You telecasts certainly will stand out in my mind forever.
Well, I agree with that, Joel. I mean, that one that sort of sends you through a whole lot of different emotional swings, and it really creates some deep thought all the time in your thought process. And I really feel like I'm with you on that one, that we made a lot of people happy, a lot of families happy, created a lot of great moments for these families, and just being able to let those families know how much you appreciate them. I think that is be number one for me also.
Now, I agree with you guys. This is not me using another example to disagree, because that was a special broadcast, as it was a couple of years ago, but I will add to the list, as far as memorable ones, was the Come On Chen game with Joel. And as we wait out the rain delay, we're going to step aside, and we're going to go to Royals Rewind, and the game we are going to show is the Come On Chen game, which was against the Detroit Tigers last year, with Joel down in the dugout suite with Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, and Rob Riggle. We have a rain delay at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals with a 4-0 lead until the Tigers got 2 in the 6th inning, with extreme winds and dust and napkins and hot dog wrappers blowing all over the place, and then finally heavy rain. And it looks like the rain is just about over with, but we will still step aside. Royals Rewind coming up, and when we're ready to go, we'll see you back here at Kauffman Stadium on Fox Sports Kansas City. clouds. We have some bright sky, and the game is going to be underway in just a few moments here, but we had quite a storm. The Royals grounds crew did an outstanding job of timing it. They played through some extreme wind and just barely got the tarp down in time.
Well, that's the first time around I see the ground crew where they actually have to lay on the end of the tarp, to keep the tarp down. I mean, that's just as much wind that got underneath it, and it just shows you how difficult that job can be on a windy day.
And getting some help from Morgan Kramer, one of our cameramen, who was there to help out with our robotic camera behind home plate and make sure that was covered up with the rain, but saw that the grounds crew could use a little more help. And Morgan, who always puts others above himself. It'll be Lewis Coleman taking over for Bruce Chen, and he inherits a 2-0 count against Brennan Bosch. So Coleman on for the 36th time. Bruce Chen 5 innings plus 2 batters. Make that plus 3 batters, and gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. Austin Jackson is the runner at second base, and Bosch pops it up. And Moustakas makes the play. So there you can officially close the book on Bruce Chen, and we'll make it official now. A Chevy call to the bullpen with Lewis Coleman coming on. What was hanging in the balance was the 2-0 count to Brennan Bosch. And if he had walked, that would have been charged to Bruce Chen. Bruce is still responsible for the runner at second base, Austin Jackson. And now ball 1-2, Ryan Rayburn. Alex Avila singled. Andy Dirks with a double. That scored Avila. Then Jackson doubled. That scored Dirks. Rayburn against Bruce Chen. 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 2-0. Temperature dropped 14 degrees thanks to that thunderstorm. And during the rain delay, all of us now, we're all amateur meteorologists, able to look at the same radars, close to the same radars that the pros look at. And all of us couldn't help but see the extended forecast. And the high for Wednesday in Kansas City is supposed to be anywhere between 70 and 72. The throw will go to first base, and Alcides Escobar pounding his glove with his fist. Maybe he's thinking twice about that decision. So Rayburn is out, Jackson to third.
Well, he definitely had a shot at third. It just depends on where Moustakas was when he was ready to throw, but then he just redirected to first base. And Jackson went right away, ball's in front of him. That's not a bad. Moose was there, but Jackson ran a little bit to the outside, and he might not have had a good look at Moustakas, and that's probably why he didn't throw the ball. And that could probably be an experienced maneuver there where he knows that the throw may be coming, so he goes right at Moustakas and really blinds Escobar. Doesn't give him any place to throw.
Mm-hmm. Miguel Cabrera 1 out of 2 against Bruce Chen with a single that he tried to stretch into a double and was thrown out by Alex Gordon by way of Alcides Escobar, and that gave Alex 18 outfield assists for a new team record. And that's drilled into left center field. Miguel Cabrera makes it a 1-run game. And he's going to try for 2 again. And this time the throw gets past Giavitello. Looked like it hit Cabrera. So he has his second hit, and that's the third double of the inning for the Tigers.
Well, I agree with you right there, Ryan. This is a slider right out over plate down. Cabrera drives it in the left center field. Mitch cuts his ball off, and he gets the ball in quickly to Alcides. He turns right around it as a duplicate play, but Giavitello couldn't hold on to that throw. The throw hit. Let's see where it hits him at. Oh, right in the thigh.
Cabrera has his 71st RBI and his 30th double of the year. And now fouled away by Maglio Ordonez. who had 2 ground balls back to Bruce Chen in his first 2 at-bats.
Take a look at this, Rhino. 2 different sizes there.
Now we really know how strong Johnny Giavotella is.
He said, "Here, young man, help me up." A couple of years from now, Giavotella walk away from that plane, leave him laying on the ground.
Oh, we talked about it last night. Giavotella has strong hands and forearms. I mean, he could pull a truck out of a ditch, let alone help Miguel Cabrera get up. Ordonez, shallow right center field. Mitch Meyer is there, and that's the inning. The Tigers get 3 to make it a 1-run game.
Contestant is Michelle Brand from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Michelle will win $6,800. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Michelle will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Another Chevy call to the bullpen, so neither starter survives the rain delay. And this is left-hander Wayne Belo. First time the Royals will get a look at him, making just his 4th appearance. And the Royals have Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, and Mitch Meyer coming up in the 6th inning. The Royals scored 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. So a 4-0 lead going into the top of the 6th inning. Tigers scoring a couple of runs before the rain delay and another run after, and now it's a 4-3 score. Royals in front. 4-3 was the final score in the first 2 games. So the Royals get Max Scherzer for 4 runs, 6 hits in 5 innings. Fouled away by Eric Hosmer. Hosmer in the middle of the Royals' 3-run 4th inning with a 1-out single and scored on a Mitch Meyer triple. Hosmer's out was a line drive to left field. Oh, 2.
Well, there ain't Belo. It's fastball, cutter, curveball, change. Against lefties, the curveball is going to be the pitch he goes to for an out pitch. Against righties, the cutter would be probably the pitch used against right-handed hitters.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Dwayne Belo is from Michigan. He is from Britain, Michigan, which is about 60 miles southwest of Detroit. Came up and hit Hosmer, a foul ball off the plate. Like it got him on the left hand.
That curveball going down in the way, and Haas rolls over on it and gets that top spin, and the ball always seems to come back into the hitter when that happens.
Another Michigan kid, Chris Getz from Grosse Pointe, right outside of Detroit. Grew up a big Tigers fan. Still 2-2 on Hosmer. Dwayne Belo, a 19th round draft pick in 2006 out of Lake Michigan College. And that will roll foul. Still 2-2. Royals with a loss last night. That put an end to a streak of 5 straight series without a losing series. They won 4. They split the 4-game series in Boston. And hoping to avoid the sweep today before the Royals hit the road. They'll play 4 games in St. Petersburg against the Tampa Bay Rays. And then 3 games in Chicago. Chicago right now is shutting out Minnesota 7-0 at Target Field. There's the curveball Frank was talking about. Hosmer is down, 1 away in the 6th.
You know, in Haas's development as a hitter at this level, Ryan, that's the one thing I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle now is how you adjust to the off-speed pitch from a lefty to a lefty on the curveball and sliders and those type pitches, being able to stay back and then go with those pitches and then even lay off the ones that aren't strikes.
You know, the thing about it, too, is he's not intimidated by those pitches. You know, you see some left-hand batters experience a good curveball and they just lock up.
Mm-hmm.
And a curveball thrown at the hitter and they just freeze. That doesn't happen with Hosmer. I think he looks like he goes to the plate thinking he can hit just about anything, and oftentimes he can.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's very aggressive, and I think just basically just recognizing balls and strikes on those pitches, and then once you get to the point where you can lay off of him and take the bad ones, and then the good ones they leave up out over the plate, then he will hit those pitches.
Jeff Francoeur 1 out of 2 today with a double, and that makes him 7 out of his last 15. Three balls, 1 strike. Francoeur thought that was ball 4. Rob Drake reels him back in. 3-2.
Well, that's the difference right there, Ryan. And we talked about the minor leagues and AAA, and here where Belo's at behind in the count 3-1, he throws a changeup in that situation.
And down on strikes, swinging at a fastball. So Belo has 2 strikeouts. Hosmer with a curveball, and he gets Francoeur with a fastball. Belo is one of those great scouting stories. A player that never thought he would play past American Legion, but there was a coach who saw him play in American Legion. Happened to be the coach at Lake Michigan College. You ever heard of Lake Michigan College before? No. Neither have I. It's on the western side of the state, obviously. So he went to Lake Michigan College and played there and figured that would be the end of it. Well, there was a Tiger scout who saw the left-hand arm out of the small college, drafted him in the 19th round, and here he is in the big leagues.
You just never know, do we?
One and 2 to Mitch Meyer. Meyer with an RBI triple in the 4th inning, came around to score. He is 1 for 2, getting the start in center field today. Melky Cabrera bothered by the left ankle.
And Belo strikes out the side. The end of 6. Royals lead 4-3. Now the difference in the game is our Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
All right, Johnny Giappatella did a lot in his opening debut in a Royals uniform, but today he got his first Major League home run, a fastball he hit down the line right off either the fair or the foul pole, how you like to refer to it. And his teammates celebrated heavily with him in the dugout. How about getting all this out of the way so soon?
Oh, man.
That's unbelievable.
You can just go and play ball now.
I mean, if they pan to the family after the home run, after he threw the big kiss up to his family, and his mom's crying, and grandma's happy, dad's on the cell phone. I mean, everything was going on in that family section after that home run.
Carlos Guillen hits it very high to right field, which is now into the wind. And Francoeur makes the play. Guillen is 1 for 3. Remember, you can take your group out to Kauffman Stadium and you will save big. Groups of 20 or more get a significant discount compared to single game ticket prices. And for those group tickets, call 816-504-4040 or visit Royals.com. Fans waiting through a 46-minute rain delay where it rained very heavy for about 5 or 10 minutes. Heard some reports of rain totaling as much as 1 inch up in Leavenworth in less than 30 minutes.
That's flood time there, I tell you.
One ball, 2 strikes. I would think wearing a flannel suit in the mid-90s, you might want to sit through a rain shower.
He probably feels pretty good right now. It's cooled off quite a bit.
2-2 on Peralta. Temperature dropped down to 78 degrees. It was 92 at first pitch with a heat index of 96 down on the field, and that fan in the flannel suit is very close to the field. A broken bat and a foul ball up the bat of Peralta. Peralta's a tough luck 0 for 2 today. He's lined to left field and grounded out to third on a shot that was smothered by Moustakas at third base. And over Coleman. And under Giavitella and into center field. Would have been a tough play even if he got a glove on it.
Hey, look at this play there. He gets to this, but just gets under his glove right here, Ron. He's going so fast. I agree with you. That would have been a very, very tough play to redirect back to first base. But I think Johnny right there just wanted to probably thought he could at least knock that ball down.
And it is a base hit for Peralta, who had been just 1 for his previous 13. And it brings up Alex Avila. 1 for 2 with a 6th inning single and a run scored. And that's popped up to the left side, and it will land in the seats. Again, the wind is shifted. It is blowing in from right, and so that ball got up into the wind. As soon as it was hit, Greg Moustakas might have a chance in foul territory, but the ball ended up in the 3rd row behind the Tigers dugout. The flags were blowing in the opposite direction, which they are blowing now with the storm coming out of the west northwest. One ball, one strike. This was before the rain, and the Royals and Tigers played for about 5 minutes in this. That doesn't mean everybody was dry. There was just no rain. The water from the fountains in the Water Spectacular blowing all over the place. Dirt and dust and hot dog wrappers and napkins blowing all around the ballpark as Avila grounds it into right field. And Peralta is going to challenge Francoeur, who comes up firing and right on the money. Man, what a throw.
Jeff gets this ball quickly, and this catch and release and accuracy is right on the money. And you're talking about right on the bottom of the foot right there at third base. He takes a look at his third base coach. He's being waved all the way. He's told to get down, and the throw beats him. Outstanding play by Francoeur. I mean, to be able to turn to the inside after going toward the line and make a throw like that all the way in the air. Outstanding play.
You know, he didn't have any time, or hardly any time, to pick up the ball, set his feet, and find his target. I mean, that was just a feel for where he was going to throw it. Not quite a blind throw, but pretty close.
Well, I tell you, he has a good feel for it. He's played long enough now. He just knows that if he gets a good catch and release and keeps the ball down, he's got a chance to get almost any guy going first or third on the right ground ball.
And now a pop-up. Escobar squeezes it. So a huge play for Francoeur and the Royals. It's 4-3 to the bottom of the 7th.
A huge lift on defense by Jeff Francoeur, throwing out a runner at third base and keeping the tying run off third with less than 2 outs.
I mean, he's going toward the line full speed and just great body balance and got himself in a great position to throw quickly and threw this ball right on the shoe top of Peralta trying to go from first to third. I mean, everything against the body on that throw, and turned out to be a great throw. Then you got Peralta. He's just going as hard as he can go. And Moose did a great job just not giving the throw away. The ball's right there. Perfect throw.
Royals continue to lead the big leagues with 40 outfield assists. Alex Gordon's assist earlier today, his 18th, establishing a new team record, passing Jermaine Dye and Mark Teahan. They both had 17. It'll be Brian Pena, Mike Moustakas, and Alcides Escobar in the bottom of the 7th inning against Dwayne Below, who replaced Max Scherzer after the rain delay and after the Tigers were out in the top of the 6th. Below struck out Hosmer, Francoeur, and Meyer in the 6th inning. Two balls and no strikes. Bryan singled in a run in the 4th inning. That was a 3-run 4th inning for the Royals. They added a run in the 5th for a 4-0 lead, and Detroit scoring all 3 of their runs in the 6th. 2-1. All 4 runs for the Royals coming against Max Scherzer in his 5 innings. 3 balls and 1 strike. Right to Peralta, who gets a nice big hop. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, fans, the next time you want to catch a Royals game, head to StubHub, where you'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you want to sit. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Kansas City Royals. And there are the StubHub seats. Leather recliners with Fox Sports Kansas City and the live game right in front. That's right. Sit up straight. You're on television.
It's a nice way to wait out a rain delay.
Cabrera makes the play, and from foul ground gets it to Below. Mike Moustakas grounds out for a 3rd time today. So Below has retired all 5 he has faced, and now he gets Alcides Escobar. This homestand began on Tuesday night with a game time temperature of 107 degrees. The hottest temperature on record. There may have been a hotter day for a Royals game in Kansas City, but as far as the records go, that was the hottest day, 107. And now here we are finishing the homestand in the upper 70s. Welcome to Kansas City. Escobar is out, and so are the Royals in the bottom of the 7th inning, but they lead 4-3. A 4-3 final score. Tigers winning the first two in 10 innings on Friday. And now it's the Royals in front 4-3. We'll go around the league, presented by Panera Bread. Toronto over Baltimore, so the Orioles continue to struggle. They are 23 games below 500. Tampa Bay and Oakland are tied in the 10th. The Royals are headed for Tampa Bay. Minnesota Twins are struggling. Jake Peavy in a shutout for the White Sox over the Twins. The Angels are in front of Seattle 1-0. Angels 1 game back of Texas. They'll be playing later tonight, as will the Yankees and the Red Sox. They are tied atop the American League East. Greg Holland on for the 8th with the Royals in front by 1, and he gets the top of the order. Bruce Chen gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, followed by 2 scoreless innings from Lewis Coleman. Austin Jackson, Brennan Bosch, and Ryan Rayburn coming up. And Holland misses outside, ball 1. Third straight game for Holland in this series, 2 1/3 scoreless. That fastball is called a strike, and it's 1-1.
Throw it again.
And it's at the knees, 1-2. Jackson doubled right before the rain delay and drove in a run, and then he scored after the rain delay on Miguel Cabrera's double. Boy, Greg Holland, if he's missing, it is just barely. And 2-2 to Jackson.
I think he's pitching really smart. He got the fastball way off the plate, called a strike, so he went back out there and got most of the plate on the following pitch, and that was a very good pitch at the bottom of the strike zone, knee high.
Still alive, 2-2. Jackson last year finished second in the American League Rookie of the Year voting to Neftali Feliz, the closer of the Rangers. And Jackson scored 100 runs as the Tigers' leadoff man in his rookie year. He has only scored 54 so far this year. Holland strikes him out, and Jackson strikes out for the second time today. And that brings up Brennan Bosch, who was 0 for 3 against Bruce Chen and Lewis Coleman. Chen struck him out twice. Oh, 1.
Well, Holland's got some kind of split finger fastball. I mean, this ball just goes down and just takes a hard dive down. It's almost like a 12-6 curveball, just with a shorter arc on it.
One ball, 1 strike. That-a-way, Dino. Apparently that's what Dino got for going out and working in the rain. And he was soaked during the rain delay, trying to protect that robotic camera behind home plate. And so just to make sure that he is comfortable for the rest of the game, he went and bought an All-Star t-shirt at the Majestic Team Store. The only place where you can get your official 2012 Major League All-Star game gear, right here at Kauffman Stadium. Now Bosch strikes out, and 2 strikeouts for Holland in the 8th.
Well, even if Brendan Bosch swings at this fastball, Ryan, it's not a heck of a lot he can do with that pitch. Down at the knees on the outside corner. All you do is hope it's not called a strike. That's a great pitch by Holland, just hitting Brian Pina's mitt. And Bosch wasn't too happy with that call.
And Rayburn not happy with that swing. Ryan Rayburn 0 for 3 as the Tigers' number 3 hitter today. He batted 8th last night, but with Victor Martinez out of the lineup, Jim Leyland shuffling his lineup around and moving Maglia Ordonez down to 5th and Rayburn up to 3rd. Good hard slider, and it's 0-2.
You know, Rayburn is really pretty much a strikeout per game. He struck out 78 out of his last 79 at bats. So, I mean, I'm sorry, 79 games. So he's almost a strikeout a game when he plays.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lined into center field, and Rayburn has a 2-out single, and that means Miguel Cabrera comes to the plate. That's a big base hit because here's the Tigers' most dangerous hitter, and he comes up representing the go-ahead run as opposed to retiring Rayburn, and then you have Cabrera coming up representing the tying run against Joaquim Soria. Provided the Royals are scoreless in the bottom of the 8th. And it's a strike to Cabrera.
Well, one thing Greg Holland's doing, he's really pinpointing his fastball on the outside corner. He could not get hurt with that pitch.
Holland has faced Cabrera twice in the series, and both times he got him to ground into a double play. He's ahead, no balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, both times it was a split finger fastball that got him out front and hit routine ground balls to shortstop.
Two hits today for Cabrera, including an RBI double. He has driven in 71 this year. Outside, 1-2. Still a ball and 2 strikes. In the first 3 series between the Royals and the Tigers, Miguel Cabrera hit .219. And in this series, he is 5 out of 13. He's driven in 2 runs. In the air to right field. So Greg Holland comes on in the 8th inning. It is a scoreless 8th inning. Royals coming up, still in front, 4-3.
And it's been a good day on defense for the Royals, and more big plays from the outfield. Here are the Chevrolet plays of the game.
The first one was Alex Gordon making a strong throw to Alcides Escobar, who relayed the throw to Johnny Giafatella to get Cabrera at second base, and Jeff Francoeur in the seventh on a base hit to right field, catching Johnny Peralta trying to go first to third.
And that was a huge play. If Francoeur does not get Peralta, the tying run is at third base with one out. Doesn't mean the run would automatically score, but Francoeur taking all the drama out of that. And Lewis Coleman was able to get out of the seventh inning. Greg Holland pitching a scoreless eighth, and now top of the order against Dwayne Belo in the bottom of the eighth. Belo has retired all 6 batters he has faced. Ball 1 to Alex Gordon. Alex is 0 for 2. He walked in the 5th inning. One and one. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. And now 3 and 1. Alex is 0 for his last 8 and just 1 for 11 in the series. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, he lost a home run last night on the first pitch of the bottom of the 1st inning. Johnny Giavatella on deck, and then Billy Butler. Got him looking. Well, Alex just got tossed from the game as he tossed his bat and then his helmet toward home plate umpire Rob Drake. Ted Yost is going to argue that the bat toss thought that it was because of ball 4, not that he was showing up the umpire. Remember, we told you earlier that this umpire, Rob Drake, was the one that was involved in the argument with Yadier Molina in Milwaukee, which resulted in a 5-game suspension. So Rob Drake's probably had enough of this. Well, you know what Ned's arguing is that Alex thought it was ball 4. And that's why he flipped the bat, although it was a long flip. It went almost all the way to the dugout. Gary Darling is the crew chief, and he's going to get a word or two from Ned.
Well, take a good look at it here, Ryan. The ball is down over the plate, and it's kind of a late call. Alex gave up on the pitch a little early, and I agree with you. It kind of got caught in between walking toss, and it just covered a lot of ground. And I think that's what. I mean, you can see why he thought it was a ball 4.
It looked like he was already in motion to flip the bat, and while he was in motion, he realized he struck out. But it doesn't look like he was intentionally trying to show up the umpire. It's just in the middle of his motion to flip the bat, he realized he struck out and just did that out of frustration. But interpreted as showing up Rob Drake, so Alex is gone. Tigers will make a pitching change with 1 out and nobody on base, and we'll be right back.
Johnny Giavotella comes to the plate with one out in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Al Albuquerque is on the mound. Lefty Dwayne Belo faced 7, retired 7. Giavotella with 2 hits, 2 extra base hits today, including his first major league home run. 1 ball, 1 strike against Alberto Jose Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, Ryan, is a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider. Fastball can get it up as high as 98 miles an hour. And the slider is one of the pitches he go to when he needs a strikeout pitch.
There's 95 with a fastball, 1-2. Right after Dwayne Belo struck out Alex Gordon, Alex was thrown out of the game for throwing his bat. And of course, only Alex knows the answer to this question. But it appeared that, again, Alex was getting ready to flip his bat because he believed it was ball 4. There's the pitch. There's the plane that the pitch came in on, so you can see why Alex didn't think it was a strike. Alex has a very good eye. On his way to first, flipping the bat, and then it looks like right in the middle of the flip, he realized he was called out on strikes. And now Giavotella strikes out, 2 away. And because of his frustration, Alex hurled the bat almost to the Royals dugout, but it really didn't look like he was intentionally trying to show up the umpire. He just happened to be in the motion of flipping his bat. And I guess Rob Drake just turned and saw the bat in the air. It's a shame that one of the other 3 umpires couldn't have interpreted something else, but Ned Yost, for good reason, coming out to defend his player, and he was also ejected from the game.
Well, you look at it from Rob Drake's perspective as a questionable strike to begin with, and he's looking at it like, okay, he doesn't want to see that because it wasn't a clear-cut strike that Alex said strike 3. I mean, he had committed himself to first base because he thought the pitch was low, and in the middle of his normal throwing the bat away, he heard strike 3, and everything kind of went haywire after that.
You know, if Alex is standing at the plate with no movement at all and he strikes out and then he hurls the bat to the dugout, that's one thing. But when he's already in the motion thinking it was ball 4, I think in that case a competitor who cares in a close game, feels like he just worked a walk, I think the umpire should factor in that he wasn't trying to show up the umpire. That's just the way he reacted to striking out. Billy cranks it to deep right. Back goes Dirks, and he makes the play on the track. So we go to the 9th inning, and it will be Joakim Soria with the Royals in front by 1. Sunny day. We also have Boulevard Royals Live coming up after the game. Let's get a preview from Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Johnny Giavitella continues the hit parade. Jeff Montgomery and I will talk about that. Reaction from Ned Yost, who hopefully will be cooled down by then after his ejection. And Alex Gordon, before being ejected, setting the single-season outfield assist record by a Royal. And can you believe it, guys? I actually found somebody that sent me a message on Twitter that was not happy about that record being set. He was crying foul about it and then said, just kidding, wish him a congratulations. That coming from Mark Tian. Guys?
That's no surprise. Well, because of Alex's ejection, Melky Cabrera goes into the game, and because of the sore ankle, he'll go into left. And Joakim Soria going for his 21st save. Now pitching to Carlos Guillen, who is 1 for 3. And Soria is in with a strike. Royals got 5 innings from Bruce Chen. He gave up 3, and those 3 runs coming in his last inning. 2 of them scoring before a rain delay. The other one after he was out of the game following a 46-minute rain delay. And Melky, you knew this was going to happen. That's just the way baseball is. The ball was going to find him. Luckily, it wasn't too difficult to play, but you can see he's still noticeably limping. And there are 2 down. And now Soria gets Johnny Peralta. Peralta's made the biggest out for the Tigers, arguably today, and it wasn't with the bat, it was running the bases when he tried to go first to third on Jeff Francoeur in the 7th inning, and Francoeur threw him out. Two balls and no strikes. So 5 innings from Chen, 2 innings from Coleman, and an inning from Holland. Coleman and Holland combining for 3 scoreless innings. And Peralta grounds it past Escobar off of his glove and into left field.
Well, Soria fell behind Peralta 2-0 and had to give him something to hit. He was able to get that hard ground ball by Escobar in the left field. It's a 2-seam fastball on the outer half. Peralta was able to get around it and hit the ball hard on the ground. And Alcides made a great effort just off the end of his glove out in the left field.
Side to Alex Avila. 0 for 3 against Soria with a walk. And that includes a ground out on Friday night. Fans are working over home plate umpire Rob Drake, who called Alex Gordon out on what looked like ball 4 in the 8th inning. 1-1 to Avila. 13 home runs for Avila and 3 in the last 5 days, so a dangerous hitter up there, and he had a very impressive home run on Friday night against Felipe Paulino to straightaway center field, more than 435 feet from home plate. One and 2. Well, in order to have a rainbow, Frank, you need some rain and you need some sunlight.
And we see that big rainbow curveball.
That's where I was going. 2 and 2. That one staying high. I don't know if Joakim will admit it, and I don't know if it's true, but it seems like he loves to end the game with that pitch.
Well, because the hitter always looks a little funny swinging at it, and he can do it. He can throw it on the different speeds. That's what makes it that much more impressive, that he's been able to command it at the different speeds that he can throw it.
Back with a fastball,
And Cabrera coming up in left field. He's got it. Sore ankle and all. So after losing the first two games, 4-3 to the Tigers, the Royals avoid the sweep. And they finish the homestand at 3-3 against the Orioles and the Tigers. And a weekend to remember for the Giavotella family as they watch Johnny today pick up his first Major League home run and go 5 out of 11 with a home run and 2 doubles. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs in his first Major League Series. And Johnny Giavotella is standing by down on the field with Joel Goldberg.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. We've been waiting to talk on the field with Johnny Giavotella every night, and the Royals get the win. And Johnny, a big part of that this weekend, your first Major League game, first hit, first run, first RBI, first stolen base, double, and today your first ever Major League home run. How about it?
It's been an unbelievable weekend. I can't say enough of how these fans of Kansas City have welcomed me with open arms and been behind me this whole time, and I can't be thankful for anything more this weekend.
Your biggest fans are sitting up there, somewhere up there. I see them waving right now. We've seen your mom, your dad, your grandmother, family members, Little League teammates. What's it been like to have them here?
It's been unbelievable. I mean, this is a dream come true. I can't say how happy I am to have my family and friends here watching me play. And this one's for you guys.
You've played now in 3 straight 4-3 games, but now you're on the other side of it. Tell me about getting that taste now of the big leagues and how incredible it is to be up here at this level.
Yeah, the past 2 games we fought hard. We just couldn't get a victory. But today we played very well. Was able to put some runs on the board, and we played very well and got a win. It feels awesome.
Looking forward to many years to come. Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Johnny Giavotella, he has been the hero for the Royals all weekend long, and now a chance to salute the fans after a 4-3 win. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. And here is that home run. In the 5th inning, his first Major League home run. Royals win it. We'll be right back.